Hello guys, it's me, Sujo. Today I'm going to talk about 5 things that I'm confused about model trains. Yes, confused. About what? The 5 reasons about what I'm confused at. First thing is, model train derails a lot. I mean, sure, it has some lacking in horsepower, or maybe some couple shortcuts, or maybe the wheel is bouncy, or the bogie isn't fitted, or the track is literally derailed. But it derails too much, even the perfect way. As I was running with my trains and in the place, it hit the car before the train moves, also derailing the hopper car right on the side. So after that, I get to know it hit after the 25 angle of hit. That's why sometimes it derails after a tight car, sometimes it get heavy because of the other cars, sometimes it also has some misfortune functional. I mean model trains do have some problems like these are typically common, but it's really messy like the real trains would all the time, fixing it, coloring it, resinate it, take caring of it. It's just pain. So that's why I use battery powered train to represent a better model and a nostalgia at the same time. I'm I'll show you the video is right onto my channel. You will see how my train looks. Number 2. Model trains have a lot of mistakes on their prototypes. I meant the real trains and model trains look the same, and the end gauge and another train gauge looks overall the same. But if we see different, if you zoom in, you will see that the model trains ends are different, like their appearance of it different, like a Union Pacific 9000 dash as something else. Their logo is upward and downward. Sometimes the color even has some problematics with missing details like the window snatched out, the glass snatched out, the handrail snatched out, how some of the crutches, plastic overview wheels with some cartoonish with wheel something else, and the smoker always show the black and some white mistake color. I always watch Sam Trains as he posts a lot of videos on model trains on the perfect way. Like there are indeed some more worse trains that sounds very bad, like the hospital train set. That's the train set that I didn't brought. I'm about to go into bought, but Sam told me that the train was the worst. Why? Because the chopping sound is different. This locomotive has no identity. It has a copy of an nickel plate road S2 Berkshire, and there's no such locomotive exist as Santa Fe 4361 S2 class. Because Santa Fe doesn't have that kind of Berkshire locomotive for now. I mean, Santa Fe has that Berkshire locomotive like the 80s or something else. Like, but these Berkshire locomotives are completely different. The hospital train is a really bad set. Second of all, not all the model trains are delivered rightly. Like they are delivered like the cotton, boxway, and a lot of wrong details. Like there are so many minor mistakes about delivery. Sometimes the will hatch out, and even the hopper car, for the sake of God, even popped out. And one of them even has a missing cargo. Like what the hell? That's why I become so frustrated. In this harsh weather and the bad days today of the mechanism cause, I am poor and I'm losing more trains. So I have decided to buy more trains just to get nostalgia. But no, I end up getting my money wasted and the trains are getting destroyed. Like the 2 model trains I bought from Amazon have been destroyed before I began to painting it. Third reason, number 3, model trains come with a different gauge. Yes, the gauge problem. I don't know anything about a gauge because the model train simply has an N gauge, N scale, HO scale, O scale, T scale, Z scale, O, OO scale, and miniature scale, and many more. I mean, there's a lot of scale, but only thing that confuses me that the locomotive on a slightly looks same, but when I put the rails it doesn't fit, like it derails. I tried it into the relayer but it doesn't work because when I calculate it with my scale it's 1.37 and HO scale. That means the model train is bigger than the original HO scale, which is 1 time bigger. Yeah, gauge problem. British, I mean in the 80s, I mean is in 18s, British locomotives, I mean in British the trains were a big minor of gauge, like gauge problem, broad gauge, narrow gauge, standard gauge, miniature gauge. There are 4 types of gauge, but they also have gauge problem when the small train doesn't fit on bigger tracks and bigger trains doesn't fit on smaller tracks. So the British engineer sought for a moment and adding a narrow gauge engine with a wheel based on the same course. So that's why I have been troubling with it. Once the train derails, I'm so done because I need a new rail for that. Please help me. Number 4. Model train has misfunctionals. I don't know why model trains sometimes have misfunctions, like when they go too fast or something else, or when they drop onto the 1.7 point floor and directly on its wheels, the whole train just destroys. Like like how can I describe it? Like imagine you put a table on it and started to driving one of these trains, but when it hit the curb track or something else, you didn't add the barrier. It ended up falling to the 1.6 centimeter hardware wood right onto his wheels, and your train looks dirty, nasty, loosened. That's when it comes to the model train that is not perfected at all. That means that the headlight won't function, sometimes the motor glitched, and sometimes more. Like the like this. I'm talking about 5 reasons about model trains disconfiguration and confusion and their how bad they can be. Like model trains are sometimes cheap or sometimes highly expensive. They can go a little haywire if they are not properly run. Some guy told me that the model trains are very sensitive and can be cheap and broken easily. I don't accept that. Like model trains are really not serious. Like imagine you put so much dedication and hard work bonding onto something else, and in 2 years it was expired and was dirty and was broken, destroyed automatically. How do you feel? Maybe bad. That's when it comes to the model trains. Every collector of the model train has to switch one of their trains. Means in every 2 freaking years. And they have to clean the track because the track also power supplies it. Sometimes it doesn't run on the used tracks, sometimes it delivers in the bad way, and sometimes more pain of all, it's a goddamn $500. Yeah, I am worked up with this model train. Number 5, the last reason. Model trains are exclusively expensive. I mean, in the 80s, his model trains were $76 with with an with a locomotive on in a whole train set. But in these days, a locomotive itself, detailed goodly, but is as same price as it. So it really frustrates me. And in the BTT Taka, it means 40,000 Taka. I cannot afford such a money. I'm sorry guys, I cannot afford such a money. Imagine you buy you buy it. Imagine you purchased a locomotive, steam locomotive, assume, or like Southern Pacific GS4 class on a low price like $489, but in the next day in Amazon it got even into more price. After you decided to build more train, it also decreases. Like, what the hell, Amazon? This is really frustrating and bewildering. And I am facing too much of a problem. That's when they get when the model trains are hitting my nerve. Why would you waste your time onto something else that is so expensive when you could enjoy model trains or being hobby like going outside and filming a train and talking to that engineer sees the real train work. And in the 3D versions, Trainage New Year era, Train Simulator 2020 Platinum Edition has really taken over people's mind as they started a lot of operating new trains on their PC and computer or mobile in a way. You can just buy a $20 Pacific steam locomotive onto your and not wasting $220 Pacific locomotive on a 3D model held in a model train. So in a think of an I think game one. Yeah, the actual hobby of a game is one. Like the model train is used in a museum to get the better represent of a country or a city. A train look and train wriggles around. It looks nice. It looks nice, cool, and nostalgic. Onto the Christmas tree, Santa gives you a train around the Christmas tree. You decorate it with some house, Maxwell House, cars, streets, trolleys, and even more buildings. Is it just gives you slight offy appearance of the model trains. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please don't please don't ignore my video. I really need subscribers. I hope you really enjoyed my video. Next time I see you in the video. Bye bye.